Hello, this is Manuela, your guiding light, and this is a second part of example of a soul plan. So in the last video, we were talking about soul A, and we had a sort of little draft of a soul A plan. Now I just would like to point a few more things about the soul A. So the soul A had a soul contract with a partner that's supposed to not give her love. Now what you need to understand that sometimes, most of the time, actually most of the souls don't do what they plan to do, because once we reincarnate in the body, we forget why we came here. So most of the time the soul plan can go completely out of control. So like, just say for example, what would happen if the soul A partner went much more deeper, than just not giving love to soul A. The plan was just not to give her love. But what would happen, which can happen, that the partner could maybe cheat and be really, really horrible, be very abusive. That means it's gone completely off the plan. So what happened then? It happened that when this lifetime finished, they have to redo it all again. So what happens when the soul A dies? Cross it over, had a look in their plan with your soul group, with your soul guides that created your soul plan. You sit together and you see, okay, where did we go wrong? And you would say to the partner, the soul, well, he went completely wrong, he shouldn't do that, so we just have to repeat all this again. It's sort of similar like when they make a movie here on Earth. Okay, so the producer writes the script, and if the actress doesn't stick to the script and makes mistakes and changes, well, they have to redo it again and again until they get it exactly right as it was written. And that's exactly happens with us, with the souls. If one soul goes completely wrong and doesn't do what they plan to do, the plan goes completely wrong, you're coming back again and again with the same person to actually make it right, to do exactly as you were planning. And this is where your karmic soulmate came. So the soul A, first partner, first lifetime, is the karmic soulmate. Why? Because it created karma straight away. The first lifetime created karma. That means they must come always together in every lifetime, because there's always karma and there's always more to learn, and they have to fix all their mistakes. So they will come every lifetime together. So what happens, for example, if another person goes wrong? Like in a soul A plan, the child could actually go completely wrong, and instead of being supportive to a mother, to learn compassion, the child could actually go completely against mother and go on the father's side. And in that way, there's a big karma created here for the child. So what happens with the soul of the child? The soul of the child will, in the same lifetime, attract. The plan will have to change, because when we go completely off the plan, your guides have to have a backup plan to actually bring new souls or different souls that's going to teach you differently. So let's just say, for example, if the child didn't follow the plan and went off the plan and went against the mother and jumped on the father's side, what happens? The child will have to learn, in order to pay the karma back, will have a next partner that is going to be very, very bad towards him, that's going to treat him very badly, or might actually never have a partner. It really depends of how far off the soul plan is. If he's really far off the soul plan, might never have a partner in that lifetime, might struggle to actually have a partner. So it's all about karma. The children create karma straight away. Even if it's the first life, if they make mistake, they create karma straight away. And the same with parents. If parents do wrong to the children, they create karma straight away. So I hope that this helps you with the Soul A. And we're going to move on now to Soul B. So Soul B is a soul that had 10 to 25 lifetimes, which is its average soul. Majority of these souls, average souls, already learn survival on Earth. So they learn about marriage. They learn about how to survive and find a balance in relationships. So the major soul lessons that the average soul would have is how to connect to the higher self. This is where we're starting to understand that we have psychic abilities, that we are soul, and also what you need to notice, if you notice that in a Soul A we did not mention soul purpose, because as a young soul it's impossible to even think about purpose. Young soul would not even know that they have a purpose, because all they have to focus is finding their way here on Earth, trying to survive on Earth. As we're coming as an older soul, we're coming to about 25 lifetime, that's when we're actually starting to question it, starting to understand that we are soul and there's a purpose, and there's much more to life than just being married and having children and surviving on Earth. So this is where we create a little bit much bigger, more complex sort of plan. So in this example, Soul B, the major soul lesson is to connect to higher self. The soul purpose of Soul B is to be a leader, a teacher. So to be a leader as a teacher, that's a quite big soul purpose. And even that we are not focusing on soul purpose as a young soul, but even then the children and everything is created for that, to help you with that. So you need to know that by this lifetime, soul has many karmic agreements as soul contracts. So in here, you don't have just soul contracts, you also have karmic agreements, because you had children, you had already quite a few lifetimes. So it gets a little bit more complicated. You don't have to just learn the lesson, you have to pay some karma back as well. So this is where also animals came. So animals, all the souls, as we mentioned in the first video, that we all been animals. That is the first lifetime that we had as animals, where we just observe the earth. Now, as an older soul, you will again choose sometimes to be animal, to pay karma back to people. It is the easiest way to pay to somebody karma back. If you've been to somebody really horrible in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, coming as a pet, as a dog that's gonna love you and cherish you and save you, is the easiest way to pay the karma back. So you probably have seen difference in animals. Very often you would hear that, you know, you would have a dog or cat, and you would say, such an old soul, it feels like a human, it knows and understands everything. So this is really the old souls that are coming back to pay the karma to you. So if you had a pet that it's really like a human and that really loved you and that really done some big work with you, that it's some soul that owes you a good karma from past lives. Now also, what happens, why would I choose to have that short sort of life? Because really, animals and pets have very short life. So what that means that maybe in a past life, the plan went completely off track, everybody was lost, and it's been really hard. So some souls don't come back. If the soul is so traumatized and needs longer healing and needs longer preparing to come back, decides to sort of stick around in heaven a little bit longer and just come as a pet to pay the karma back. because that is not very challenging. So that's where we have these old souls as a pets, and it's simple and it's easy, and it gives a soul that it's gone through really too much trauma in a past life a little bit of a rest. So going back to soul B, soul that soul purpose has as a leader, okay, as a leader or teacher, will choose a parent that will be able to give the soul everything she needs, basically to spoil the soul, which means this child's going to be very spoiled, will have everything they need, and will be quite controlling and manipulative. Parents will control the parents and manipulate parents. That's the way for soul to learn how to be a leader. So, and also soul B will have many children, because we learned already about relationships. As a young soul, you will have only 1 or 2 children, not many. As you're growing a little bit older soul, every soul will have actually many children, because that's where they're learning the most. It's like children are the best teachers. Children and partners are best teachers. So average soul will have many children. And then as we go further to really old souls, they're not going to have many children. They might not have any children, because they already done all that and learned all that. So average soul will have many children. That's very important for them, especially as a leader, as a soul purpose as a leader, will be very good for them to have many children. That's how it's going to teach them a lot. So soul B will have 4 children, and each child will test soul B our capability as a leader. It will teach them it will teach soul B how is to be a leader. So when we talk about leader, there's many different qualities, and it really depends on which area of life you're going to lead. Now we have 2 different types of leaders, and as we're going deeper into Akashic records and soul plans, you'll find that as spiritual teachers and leaders, and just the leaders as a government leaders, are very different. And the soul B, it's a government leader, and the soul B government leaders can be actually very lost. They can get very easy off their plan, because they are focusing a lot on materialistic side of the life. They focusing on success, being very successful, and trying to keep their name and their power, which is very important to do as a leader. Now the difference between soul purpose as a healer and still being a spiritual teacher, it's actually quite different. As a soul purpose as a healer will need to have qualities of a leader to be able to teach. So you will see that there's quite a big difference between these 2. So if the soul is not purpose, if the soul has purpose only as a leader, it means it's going to be a government leader. So this is where we have our lawyers, our presidents, our prime ministers, you will start basically with really basic. You might start being just an accountant, and each lifetime you will actually increase and be bigger and bigger. So in order for you to come to that leading position where you're actually meant to be a leader, to bring some big changes in the world, you will have to gain the knowledge, not just the spiritual knowledge, but the knowledge as well, intellectual knowledge. And that's what comes as well with soul growth as well. So you might start the first lifetime as being just an accountant, somebody that is actually using their brain a lot, because it's really important here to use your intellect. That's very important. You might start being as a accountant. You might then start being as a teacher, as a school teacher. And the next lifetime, you might go a little bit higher. You might go and be a lawyer, which sort of helps you to learn to stay in a long-term study, because everything that you've done in a past life, you have memory. So like just for example, if you've never been a lawyer in a past life and then deciding in this lifetime to be a lawyer, that's going to be quite big for you, because you don't have the memory, you've never done it before, and you might really hesitate to actually do that. So in every lifetime, you will prepare yourself a little bit to get to the leader. And to be actually a leader and to serve the purpose, to be a leader exactly the way you're meant to be, and to bring the big change in a world, it could take you 40 lifetimes. So we're gonna explore a little bit more deeper into this soul being in the next video. I hope you understand all this, and I hope that this is going to help you to open your mind for more. So I am sending you lots of love and light now, and I will see you in the next video. So stay in tune for the next video, part 3. Bye bye for now, and if you did like this video, please click on like or subscribe.